Welcome back to another episode of the Ari and Sid Show. I'm Ari.
And I'm Sid. We're forever friends, and this is the shit we care about.
On any given day, we find ourselves having conversations about meaningful shit, and sometimes it's not so meaningful shit. And so we made this show, for those of you who haven't listened to us yet, to share with the world in hopes to spread some awareness and learn from one another outside of our text threads.
Yeah, that. So if you enjoy what you hear, you want to stay connected with us, or you want to hear us talk about some shit you care about, please, please, please follow us online. And of course, like, share, subscribe, leave us a rating.
Yeah, please, not please. We're not begging, but tell a friend to tell a friend. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into some shit. We're on episode 4 of our second season, and we're fucking in March, bro.
It's March 2021, which means that we've officially been quarantined for a year.
Right.
Change at this point.
Don't even get me started. Like, that needs its own episode, really, because it's just too much to unpack in it. Right. But new month, we got a new theme for y'all, and we're exploring relationships.
Yeah. The theme of the month is relationships. So I'm excited because we get to talk about, like, not just, what people will go to first with about romantic relationships, but like platonic relationships. We're going to talk about just really like adult human interaction.
Yeah.
And maybe not even just adult. Like, I might even talk about how I have to, interact with my child.
So. Mm-hmm. Which is, it has so far been, she's becoming such a human. And like, I mean, she is a human. She was born a human. But, like, I don't know. She's becoming a person, like, with attitude,
like
and
thoughts and things. Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Kind of cool. Very creepy to watch. Like, it's like, it is honestly very odd to watch so close on, like watching this little tiny person learn new things each day and like apply it the very next day. It's pretty wild.
I love hearing about it, though. So you'll also share how your relationship with your baby has changed as you've seen her grow and grown as a mother.
Yeah, that's very true. But today we are going to talk about, what have we learned about ourselves, or what have relationships that we've been in, or the relationships that we're currently in, taught us about ourselves. So, always some self-work to be doing, right? Or to be done. Damn, look at me. Always some self-work to be done. That's what I meant to say, ladies and gentlemen.
So do you want to go first? Tell the world what relationships have taught you about yourself.
So of course, like, we're like always growing, we're ever evolving or whatever, people. But this like past year, I have like been very intentional about like focusing on like on my relationships with people and like really what like that means for me. And like I've learned a lot about myself in this last year, right? And like also because like when the pandemic hit, I was like, okay, like definitely need to buckle down and take care of my mental health. So I started seeing like my therapist regularly. Like we see each other virtually like every 2 weeks or whatever. And I've like talked to her a lot about like relationships and like how like like just like, I don't know, the growth, right? And so I think like something that relationships has taught me about myself is like I'm a very like intentional like puzzle piece like sticking together as person. Like things have to make sense for me. Like it has to make sense. Like there has to be a purpose to this. Like there has to like, you know what I'm saying? Like it has to fit.
We can't just be doing shit just to be doing shit.
So I think Exactly, right. And like with anything, like if it's a romantic relationship, I don't want to just be doing this in this relationship because I can say that like I'm not single, right? And like I don't want to just be friends
Yeah.
with someone just to say like, oh, we're friends. Like, like I want this to somehow also like be in connection to like my growth as a human being. Like I want all my relationships to have some sort of factor in supporting my growth, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a very like puzzle ass person, which is so funny that I even brought up that thing,
I know.
the idea of puzzles, because I really do like puzzles. I love puzzles.
Yes, I
And I was just
do.
talking I was just talking to Mo this morning and I was like, yo, no, we know how like kids be like, this is soft topic, but you know how kids be like, you got games on your phone? I was like, kids would roast me because like all my games are puzzle games. Like no kid
Oh,
is gonna
that's
want to hop on my
funny.
phone and do like a jigsaw puzzle or like play Sudoku or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or like play these like word finding games. Like they're gonna be like, what
Yeah.
are you doing? What is what is this school? Like kids would roast me. No one wants to play my phone games. But yeah, puzzle games. Those are my shit. What about you? What do you think you like learned about yourself from the relationships that you've been in?
Hmm. I have learned quite a bit. I feel like, honestly, which I mean, this is a dumb thing to say because it's obvious, but if you met me 10 years ago, you probably, I mean, I met people and I gone years and they're like, what, who is this person? You know what I mean? Um, I think one of the most valuable things that relationships have taught me is the fact that not everything deserves a response. Not necessarily deserves. That's kind of a harsh word, but like not everything needs a response. Not everything needs this exaggerated expression of my words or my feelings, or you know what I mean? Because I have had multiple different, I have had intimate romantic relationships, friendships. They've all like either passed or expanded, and I used to be a very angry person, not necessarily like angry, mad at the world, but like it was very easy to make me angry, when it came to certain things. And so, most specifically, in my relationship that I'm in now, I've really challenged myself not to get out of my character of who I want to be. I don't want to immediately start yelling because I'm having trouble expressing how I feel with a calm demeanor, And I mean it's not always the truth, right? I talk loud anyways. So yelling is already a second nature. Um so how I communicate is something that I've improved upon depending on my relationships. I also think that the value of relationships has changed. I definitely like I've basically lived on my own since I was 17. I mean, not necessarily all the way, but for the most part. And so I used to cling to relationships like any kind. You know what I mean? Like, and I love meeting people. I love being friends with them, having people to go do things with. Um, but as I've gotten older and relationships have passed and changed, I've put less weight in those relationships or creating new relationships or like clinging on to things, being able to let things go. And even just, allowing change to happen. I'm not one person that likes change at all. I like to do things sporadically, but it has to be me. You know what I mean? I don't like when
Yeah.
other people change. And I don't like when situations change. I have a hard time adjusting to other people's form of change. So trying to be a little bit more less restrictive to that. Because yeah, of course. You want to go to Vegas? Okay, cool, let's go. And then like the day of you tell me that you don't want to go and I'm like heartbroken. That used to be something that used to, not I mean, that's never happened. I mean, let's be real. We've always gone to Vegas. But
Right.
um you know, and so I've allowed myself to just let people be people and not take things to heart. Um, so yeah,
I
those
feel
are the two
that.
biggest. And I can go on and on because I feel like I'm nowhere near done growing, but
Right.
it's definitely something that I've found. I find a lot of time, and it may be the Virgo in me, and also because the Virgo moon that I saw, I had retweeted something the other day about like what people should do, let go of during the Virgo moon, full moon. And the thing that they said for Virgo is the past, which I spend a lot of time in the past, and not because I'm regretful or whatever, but like because there was a lot of things that I had held dear to my heart in the past. And so like I allowing change to happen has been something that I always try to work against. Like, no, it's not how it is. Like, I remember when this was this, you know what I mean? Um, so the Virgo moon has no, I'm just kidding. I don't know. But yeah, so allowing the past to be past and allow like the change to occur and just allow it and like adapt to myself to it. And if I can't adapt to it, then recognizing that and saying, okay, well, this isn't for me.
Yeah, no, that's real. Because as much as I like talk about like I'm a puzzle person and it has to be impactful, blah blah blah. Like I also have to learn like yeah, Sydney, you like a plan, but like over planning is a thing, right? And like I can't. There's like you said, like things that are gonna fit are gonna fit. I can't make certain things like and things that aren't gonna fit, I need to just let them go, right? But like I also like because I'm such a puzzle person and like I'm always like, okay, well, like, oh, I met this great person and like, okay, we're gonna be friends. How are we gonna be friends? And like, like what does
Yeah.
this mean for us in the future? And like blah blah blah. I have to really just kind of let go of that and like live right now, like we are friends right now and this is great because A, B, and C. Now, like, not to say that like if I feel this person's a shaky person that I should just like keep going with it and see where it
Right.
goes, but like also just like don't spoil a moment, essentially. Like if things feel good, and I think that's also part of like having to like fight like anxious thoughts and like just anxiety in general. But like if things it's nice to have a plan and want things to fit, yes, but like also like don't put too much pressure on it.
I also think you say this because not you saying that makes me think also about how I saw something recently about how there are three places that people live: the past, the present, and the future. And I feel like at different moments in my life, I've been anxious about any point, right? Right now, tomorrow, yesterday,
Mm-hmm,
but thinking
mm-hmm.
about how um going with the flow and like that's a struggle because we're so trying to be intentional about our future. Like we're at point A, we're trying to get to point B. Like, how do I get there? And this, I need to be intentional. And then like not even allowing yourself like a break, like, okay, I don't necessarily need to worry about that right now. Like, yeah, I'm going to be intentional, but like intentional doesn't mean I have to live in this box of like tunnel vision and you know what I mean?
Right.
So letting my future vision be that, but not necessarily be the only thing. Like that's one version of
Mm,
the future. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's in my head and I have to, have the reality future, which isn't even set in stone yet. So you know what I mean? And I feel like it becomes I found myself as mostly in the last year being sad because I'm like, well, I don't know what my future is. You know what I mean? What's my purpose and I have no idea, especially right now. And not that I'm like lost or anything, which I mean, some days I am, but it's just been interesting seeing how my future self isn't even like, it's not even a thing yet. It hasn't been invented. It hasn't been, you know what I mean? And just letting it be. Like the
Yeah.
version of myself in my head is not real. I
Right.
tweeted this other day.
Yeah.
Social media is not real. The person in your head is not real. Like the things that you do and you actively engage in, because your brain uses so many different parts that you don't even realize, right? So like who
Mm-hmm.
knows, like those parts that you don't realize are actually what's creating the version of yourself, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I think I'm getting a little bit
That's
off
deep.
topic,
No,
but
that was I'm here for that conversation. Shit. I loved about that. So that's real though. I love that like we both are like talking about like growth and just like pointing out things that relationships have taught us, but like things that we are also like both actually like working on. Like it's taught me this, and this is like how I'm putting it to use. It's just not like, oh, like yeah, like it taught me that I'm like this way, and then like period. Like end
yeah.
of
And
story. That's what it is.
and I think this is a great, it's an amazing topic because there's this whole there's always been the debate of like, are children a product of their environment, right?
Mm,
You can think what you think, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? But when you become an adult, like, you are, because you are in control. You create your environment. You create
yeah.
who you want to be around in your life. You allow that person or thing or whatever. So like, truly, you are the product of your environment because you've created it, right? I mean, there are definitely other factors where that might not be the case, trauma, abuse, all that. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like, you know what I mean? You as a person can control things. If you have limitations, that's different. But at the core, we are products of our environment as adults living in this world. And so I think having this conversation about how relationships have, like, what they have taught us, it's just driven that home for me, because relationships have taught me the kind of environments that I want to be in.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that includes like environments of like friendships. Like, what does our friendship look like if it was like an environment, a living space? You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
is it welcoming? Is it, you know what I mean? Looking at friendships as like homes. Because not everybody,
Ah.
I think also I used to want to make people homes. I mean, more so excuse me, my romantic relationships, I wanted them to feel like home, you know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't necessarily have a home. I lived at the dorm, and off that, I would live at my dad's house part time and other people's house part time when I wasn't at school. So finding somebody that was home that I could like, oh, you're going to be here forever, wide eyed and
Yeah.
naive. But now when I'm thinking about it, like, relationships are homes. You just have to determine what you want them to be filled with.
Come on, poet. See.
You know what? I was thinking in my head.
I already been in this damn grad school, these grad school classes out here perfecting her craft. Now she can't turn it off.
I really can't. You know what?
I
And I
love
was thinking
it.
in my head, like, damn, I need to write that down.
I
um,
love that.
yeah, that was dope. That was cool. I'm really
So
writing this down.
yeah, please do. Okay, so we talked about like being intentional about like the environments we want to be in, the people we want to be around, and the relationships that we kind of create for ourselves and around ourselves. What do you think when it comes to human relationships, like so platonic, romantic, coworker, whatever kind of relationships, what are two things that you've learned that are really important to you, that like these are like the top two things on my list when it comes to any kind of relationships, like I look for this and this?
Um, I would say when it comes to relationships, I need someone who is, I want to say authentic, but that's such a cliche word. But I mean that in a sense of communicating to me who they are and who they want me to be to them. Like, we don't have to talk every day, but if that's what you want, then communicate that. You know what I mean? We don't
Mhm.
have to talk on the phone. And there are certain friends, I've been friends with them long enough. I know we don't talk on the phone. We talk over text, or we talk when we see each other. And the second thing I would say is someone who's working, I'm trying not to be superficial, but I mean, somebody who's trying to be productive with their
Mm-hmm.
life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I'm not really at a point to where I need to make friends and go out to the clubs with them. Cause that was my early 20s. I would go, hey girl, we in the bathroom. We take a
Right.
picture, we exchange numbers, and then, next thing you know, next weekend we're going to the club together.
Right.
I want to know what you're doing. I want to know what you're working towards. I'm also a big person in like, how can I help you? I want to have people around me who are working towards things because it also challenges me. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's selfish, but I'm at this point where I am selfish. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
want people who inspire me. I don't want to always have to be the inspirer, which I don't mind, but like, it needs to
Right.
be a two-way street. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I love
Which,
that.
of course, I mean, you're who I'm thinking of when I say that. So like, everybody else basically needs to be Sydney. No, I'm just kidding. What about you?
That's real. I love that. So the first thing that comes to my mind is like I don't know if this sounds like I be feeling honestly, I really feel like such like a middle child whenever I talk and like I don't know, I be feeling like people think I don't know, let me just say this, okay. One of like the main thing that comes to my head when I think like, okay, if I'm going to be your friend, if we're going to be in any kind of relationship, if you're just going to share space with me, like I need to feel safe. Like seriously, like
Yeah,
I need to feel like if something happens, like you are going to care enough about me to like do some ask about me, lean in some way, somehow, some
yeah,
shape. You know what I'm saying? Like I need to feel safe. Like I need to know like I can't like and I've done it before, but like I refuse to like ever just share space with people or let people into my space that like I have to question. Like I don't ever want to have
yeah,
to like question your motives if you are in my space. That's not cool. Like I don't want to let you in my home if you know what I'm saying, if I don't know if you're going to take care of everything here. Like,
yeah.
you know
That's
what I'm
real.
saying? Like so safety is like my big thing. Like I need to know like your word is bond. Like, and it's not like, like I need you to lay your life down for me. Like that's not it. Like, but I just need to know like if I come to you and like I, am vulnerable with you, you're going to, give me space and you're going to respect my privacy. You're not gonna go and like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're
Yeah,
going to be there, you're going to be open, you know what I'm saying? Like I need to feel safe. I need to feel, warm and nurtured. Like, like, yeah, like I want to be nurtured by my friends. Like, I want to be able to be like, yeah, like I know if I need a hug, like I can lean in and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and if even in a world where we can't physically be around each other, like I know what your hug feels like, right? Like, so like
yeah,
even though we're like on the other side of the country, like I know that like if I call you and I'm like, I'm feeling just any type of way and I'm like seeking safety, or from seeking like being nurtured, like you can say something to me or you will do something that will make me feel as if we are physically hugging. And I
yeah,
need that. You know what I'm saying? Like I need that kind of connection from the people that I'm going to let close to me because that's why I want you that close to me. Like yeah, like and like it might sound selfish, right? But like I need like that's what I and like in return, like I want to be that for you as well. But like
yeah.
safety is my top. Like I just need to feel safe, dog. Like I don't want to have to question anybody's intentions because then like that's energy I don't have to be spending on that.
Right,
Like it's just there's too much going on. And then like you mentioned it too, is the other thing is communication. Like just let me know. Like just let me know what's going on.
right,
Like, communicate effectively. Like, and I think of course that communication grows and it changes as relationships grow. But like it's just really important. And I really like appreciate having just like these like individual like or like personal types of like communication styles with folks because like again that's another form of safety, like you know what I'm saying,
yeah,
like now it's like we have our own way of like speaking or like we have our own like communication style or language and like that's just another layer in this onion of like our relationship or whatever that travels back to my safety and like we get each other, they hear me, they see me, so Those are big for
Yeah.
me. Like communicate with me and like keep me safe. And I will promise to do the same for you. Like that's
Yeah. True shit. I think another big thing about communication is like, let me know if I fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We should
Yeah.
be friends should be able to do that. Like, don't say, bitch, you fucked up. Excuse my language, y'all. But you know what I mean? Like, if that's how we talk to each other, but we I don't really have friends that we talk like that. But you know, if I stepped out of line or crossed a boundary or didn't do something or failed to meet your expectation or failed to meet, the list goes on and on. Didn't do
Mm.
something I said I was going to do. I mean, call me out. Or if you don't want to say it, call you out like, hey, you know, I just want to let you know, blah, blah. Like it, however you communicate things, like conflict resolution, which is actually my next class that I'm taking, um, is something that I struggled with. And so if you don't tell me, shit, everything is gravy. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
everything is
Yeah.
good over here because I'm not tripping. So if something is messed up or whatever, like, you know, and sometimes I don't necessarily uphold that on my end. You know what I mean? Sometimes I haven't in the past, but I also deal with it. And like if something is bothering me enough to where it affects how I communicate, then I
Hmm.
will address it. But if it's like, wow, that really irritated me, but it's also Saturday and I'm pissed off, so I'm gonna let it go and then I'm gonna address it if it still bothers me tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like,
Right. Yeah.
so that's been another thing that's made me realize how important communication is when it comes to conflicts as well.
Yeah.
Do
I
you
think
think?
that like that's super important because it's like as your friend, if I fuck up, it's a fuck up. Like I don't want to hurt you, right? And so like help me be a better friend to you, like because that's
Right.
what I want to be, right? Like, and if you come to me and you tell me like, hey, like you messed up, like, and I'm like defensive, then like, do I really want to be your friend? Because if I want to be your friend, then I'm gonna want to listen to you and like hear you out and fix or remedy whatever it is. So like I think that's super important. Like if you can't get past um, you know, if you can't get past or you can't accept criticism from because we're friends, like if you need to be perfect all the time or like you need me to just be like, yeah, you're great and like all this is great all the time, then like this is not gonna work.
Right.
Like it's just not because that's not realistic. Everybody fucks up because we're human and we're growing and we're changing. And like, the ways that we used to communicate before might not be ways that we communicate now. You know what I'm saying? Like we're like things change. Like we were like 15 years old when we met. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, we're totally different people. Or like, even I was younger than that. Like, we're totally different people. So like, the ways that we've communicated has changed. And like, I'm 100% sure that like in high school, like we probably weren't able to like talk and like address conflict the way that we are now. But
Yeah.
we also throughout the years have realized that this was a friendship that was worth doing that hard work like and being
Right.
uncomfortable in those moments, and to the point where like, yeah, now we can just be like, yeah, like, or like we are able to communicate so effectively that like we're able to even just avoid most of that stuff anyway.
And I think that as I've gotten older as well, I've been able to, I mean, I haven't perfected it, but I had saw this article a while back and it's about how some people have trouble identifying the emotion that they're feeling. And so
Mm.
like conflict is always like it's always immediately associated with frustration or anger or you know what I mean? But like you could have made me sad or disappointed or like,
Yeah.
you know, all these other feelings. And so when I think about if I need to address a conflict, I also try to think about how am I feeling about it, you know, and that's just
Mm.
new. Like that's been a new pandemic, Ariana. You know what I mean? Like, how am I feeling? Why is this? And I mentioned this before. Like, why is this making me feel upset? Or why is this making? Because like conflict is also like it doesn't have to make you angry. It can make you uncomfortable. You know, why am I
Right.
feeling
Yeah.
these emotions? So trying to dive deeper into them. So I wanted to mention that just last part because
That's real.
it's something that our generation doesn't, I mean, not even our generation, people in this time period who are living in the 21st century with social media and text messaging, and like relationships are frivolous. You know what I mean? People are just like, they stopped texting me back, or they blah blah blah. You know what I mean? So fuck them. I don't fuck with them no more. Not that like, hey, we just stopped talking. We lost communication. Like, do you realize in the 80s, if you didn't have somebody's number written down, you did not have their number, and they could have moved and you would have
Okay.
never spoken to them ever again. You know what I mean? I've been watching Firefly Lane, so they're in the 80s and whatever. But it's just
Yeah.
crazy how like the expectations of being an individual has changed, which I mean, we can't expect it not to with the new generations and technology and all that, but like just take some time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Talking over text messages doesn't always do it. Social media doesn't always do it, you know what I mean? Like I've said things on social media and you text me like, "Hey, are you good?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm just singing a song." You know what I mean? Like that shit. Or I could have been like, "Yeah, why? What's up? Like, what's the problem? Like, should there be something wrong?" You know, like there are things, people
Right.
adjust things that way, and it's just crazy. You don't have to be defensive all the time. Like, I'm not here to hurt you.
Yeah.
Um,
I-
but how do you think your friends view you?
Um. Okay. So.
Not me, besides me,
Okay.
because I think everybody knows. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, so like, all right. In my head, I really think that like to my friends, I'm this like obnoxious little like energy ball that just is like always just like talking about shit, right? Like I think I'm very loud, and I think but I think I'm a fun person. Like I think my friends know that I'm fun, and I think that they also know that like I'm like passionate, right? But like I say that part like about like being loud or whatever to say, because a few months ago I actually texted Tiara and I asked her like, do you think I'm a loud person? And she was like, no, because I was like, I'm always telling Mo's always like, you are whispering, like I can't hear, because I'm like, I'm tired of repeating myself. He's like, I can't hear you because you don't talk loud. Like he's like, I'm not listening. I just literally cannot hear you. And like, I'm like, but I'm screaming, like I'm literally talking so loud, like it hurts my voice. He was
Yeah.
like, that doesn't make any sense. And so like I text her and she's like, yeah, you're not very loud unless you're talking about some shit that you really are like fired up about.
Yeah.
Then she's like, then you're like, you're hype or whatever. But yeah, so like with that, like I think my friends know and see me as like a passionate person. Like
Mhm.
I'm gonna talk about some shit, especially if I know about it and I care about it. I'm gonna put everybody on. Um, I think my friends also view me as very supportive. Like, like I pride myself on like not being a hater. Like, I was gonna say something so dumb. I was gonna say I don't got a hating bone in my body.
That's funny.
But I really was like sitting there like, dang, like I really am not a hater. Like I have so many great friends that are doing great things, and like like not everything your friends touch is gold, right? But like at the end of the day, honestly, like mine are. I don't know. I just
I don't know about
got some badass
y'all.
friends. Yeah, like I'm sorry, but like that's not everybody's reality. But like like I'm not going to fake support. Like any support that I give my friends, it's real. I'm not just doing it because they're my friends. But like I'm going to go hard for my friends. Like I'm going
Yeah.
to retweet your shit. I'm going to repost and share and like, like tell people about you like you're my own kid. Like, look, my friend was doing this and that. Like I'm going to brag like that because like I don't know, I guess I would want the same to be done for me in return, but also just because like I think that sort of love and that sort of support is really important. I think it's extremely
Yeah.
important to like give respect to people and give love to people when they're doing things, especially when it's things that they really, really, really want to fucking do.
Yeah.
Like every time I see each and every one of y'all like doing the shit that you want to do, like it fucking excites me. And not even just my friends, like Mo too, like Mo's doing he video game, he's a streamer online, and like he's doing his like video game and fitness stuff, and that shit is so fucking dope. And like
Yeah.
like no one else is really doing it, and so like it's really exciting to see him do it, and he has a community behind him and it's growing, and like I just think that's really dope. So yeah, I think my friends would view me as like supportive and like passionate. And I mean, I guess people think I'm quiet. I guess I don't know. I be like thinking, looking like thinking back, I'm like, how do y'all think I'm quiet? But a lot of the memories that I think back on, I was drunk. So like maybe drunk Sid is not very quiet.
She is not, let me tell you. She is not. And I don't know if I would call you quiet. Not that this question is about how I feel about you or how I view you. Um, but I feel like you're just even keel. Like, yes, you talk loud when you're passionate, but like sometimes I'm like, are you excited? Because you're just like a calm person. Not all the time. Of course, you like if I tell you things like you're like, that's super dope. And like I know you really mean it, but I'm just like, you're just calm. Like I think you, yeah. But that's me being honest and also with love. You are loud when you're drunk, but when you're just talking, I think it's just I feel like I like you're a therapist, you know, you just have like a soft, calm voice, you know what I mean? Um I think that my friends view me as well, I guess it depends on when they met me. I would say also enthusiastic, spontaneous. Um, at some points in my life, they would think I didn't give a fuck about much. um, and now I don't know. I feel like maybe, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't thought much about it because like oh wait, no, they think I'm probably caring and like, you know, I try to keep my word. Hey, I'm also on time now. I used to be the late friend. My brother had to text me today because I was going to his house and he told me the other day to come at 1:30 and then text me again today. He's like at 1:30 he's like actually come at 2 and I was like I already know but because like I'm not on time I'm on time now and he was like come at 2 because he knew my ass was gonna come at 1:30 but I was like no I'm gonna take my time I'm gonna show up late this time but anyways and also like driven I feel like I go hard for things that I care about and I want to do but also I think maybe and I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but this also might be projecting a little bit of myself, but driven, but also sometimes with no direction. And I mean that with like, you know, like I have a million thoughts a minute. So it's like sometimes I am just like a spontaneous, driven, crazy,
Yeah,
enthusiastic person.
I wouldn't say there's no direction, but I would call it like spontaneous drive where like you are because like you're such a talented person and so like you have all these really great things that like you literally could do at the drop of a dime and so
I wish.
sometimes you will just do it like you'll just like yeah I'm gonna do that then right now cool when so it's not like you know like there's like no direction it's not like oh what the heck like because it's something that you really good at or like something that like you know you're I don't know you have some skill in so
And
like
that makes me feel better. Because
I
sometimes I
yeah
feel like
I
I'll be shit. Today I don't know. I don't know. You know, it's crazy in this head sometimes. So I do appreciate that.
That's funny. It's crazy in its head sometimes, man.
So
Yeah.
I guess we'll get on to we have one last question. I don't know how long we've been on talking, but you know, we can go for if you listen to the last episode, that was one of our longest in a while. But anyways, back on topic. As you've gotten older, what characteristics do you find to make you shy away from creating a relationship with somebody?
um, I think I would like going back to earlier when we were talking about like people who can't sort of like take criticism. Like I don't want to be around perfect people. like, I don't want to be around anyone who doesn't want to or doesn't think that they like will grow or can grow and change. I don't
Yeah.
have space for that. I don't want to be around perfect people. So like I shy away from folks who like, aren't accountable, like can't take accountability for themselves. Like that if they're like if everything you go through is somebody else's fault, like I'm not about to
Yeah.
let you add me on that list of people to blame. Like, no, thank you. I'm sorry. You know, but I think that's my big one. Other than that, I feel like I can get through, some other things, but that's the type of shit that makes me feel unsafe, man. So,
Yeah, true.
no.
Hmm. I'm trying to think. I have a pretty low threshold for making or creating a relationship, even if it's like casual, like, oh, let's follow each other on. I met this girl. I forgot to tell you this. I was skating outside the other day, and there was this girl who was skating, and she was a black girl. And I was like, oh my gosh, another black girl who skates in my neighborhood, outside at that. I was just like, oh, hey, and like I hadn't really done it in so long, like making a friend, then, intentionally, I've like, oh, hey, we work together, let's be friends, blah, blah, blah. But we like exchanged numbers, talked about going to grade skate. So bizarre.
Oh.
I don't know. But I say that because I think I am the kind of person that doesn't shy away from a relationship until like I see a red flag. So it's like, sure, I'll create something. I don't know if I'll call it a relationship. I'll create a connection. You know what I mean? Like we'll connect. And then I'll decide later, like, okay, you're kind of that friend I only speak to when I go outside, which if you were during the pandemic, then I just don't talk to you. You know what I mean? So yeah, I really don't know. I think it's definitely because, I've had poor friends, I've had homeless friends, I was a homeless friend. You know what I mean? I think I try not to pass judgment. The only time I think I found it to be like, yeah, nah, I'm not interested. If it was somebody who is manipulative, like, and not just like, not even towards me. If I can see or peep that you're being manipulative towards somebody else, and
Yeah.
I'm like, how are you gonna try to coerce me somewhere down the line?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm gonna hop out of this train before we
Yep.
get too far, that for
Yep.
sure. Now that I'm thinking about it, definitely
Yeah.
can't be. You can't fool a fool. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm not a fool, but I also don't manipulate people.
Yeah.
Besides Kendall, when I want him to buy me something. No, I'm just kidding. um,
That's real though. That honestly, like watching people, like it actually might be scarier watching someone manipulate another person than it actually being done to you. Like seeing it happen is really nope. Don't want no parts in that. No, thank you. You said I'm hopping off this train. Yeah, no.
Even when I watch it on TV, bro, that should be making me uncomfortable. I'm like, you really just sat here
audacity.
Man, even I just finished Being Mary Jane, and it was the last season, and Michael Ealy. Anyways, his character manipulates, like, not necessarily a person, but he does like this whole coercion and like the situation to get Mary Jane into the anchor chair. And like, I was like, damn, that's fucked. It's like, is this how the TV world is? Like on news? Like, do news people really be doing this shit? I need to know. So if you in the news or you are a journalist, let me know. How does this shit work? Do you pitch an idea, and if it's so good, the anchor gets to take it? I don't know. That shit just don't sit right with me. Yeah. I digress.
Yeah. I don't know that I am like, I think like, I'm constantly evaluating and reevaluating my like not even my relationships but just myself and like how I present myself in like my relationships and like constantly just like learning about myself and really just trying to like put what I'm learning into action so that I can like I don't know enhance or elevate my relationships as they move forward.
Yeah. Cause like really, if we aren't trying to, if we think we are 100% golden, which I mean, hey, if you are at your highest peak, you peaked, hey, own that shit. But I also think that like it doesn't do a relationship justice if you allow yourself to be stagnant in a way that's
Yes.
like a stagnant placeholder. Like, yeah, we just going through the motions, I don't really feel the need to do XYZ. And like
Mhm.
that stunts the relationship. Your relationship could be amazing with whoever.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen by just saying, you know what, I'm never gonna change or improve. So I definitely feel that for sure. I mean, even look at us, like we met in high school and like had I been like that person still, I don't think we would be friends. You know what I mean? Like we were friends and like we were close, but like I was at a different place, you know what I mean? As far as like if I stayed where I was, like an angry, not give a fuck, I'm gonna do what I want, blah blah blah. I wouldn't be in a position probably now to be your friend. I'd probably be doing shit that wouldn't necessarily be in anybody's best interest. I'm not saying I was gonna do something reckless, but anyways, I definitely think that the progression of our own persons, like our own selves, has helped us maintain a relationship where it's like I don't even question whether or not we're ever gonna stop. You know what I mean? Like it's you moved that could have broke us. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just
Right.
kidding.
Yeah.
But you moved and like I feel nothing, like no lack of friendship. I mean, we don't sometimes talk, but I put that more on like you having a whole child
Yeah.
and like having to put energy into that. I don't have any resentment towards that. You know what I mean? So I think that we've just continued to like, and we shifted. Like, we're in this pandemic and we put this fucking podcast together. We had all these other plans
Yeah.
and separately, we've also bettered ourselves. I mean, you're working for yourself and you're doing all these amazing things. And I decided to do grad school for whatever reason. I'm just kidding. I like saying that because it's just like sometimes I question it. But I think that I feel like that has helped us both also create stronger relationships with other people who aren't in our circle. So, anyways, don't I can like I said, I'm the long-winded person I feel like in our podcast, so I'm gonna shut up now.
All right. So we don't want to keep y'all too long, but of course, we always love that y'all like to hang out with us. But before we let y'all go, of course, we always have to leave you with a special cause or just, boost your awareness on a certain topic. And so last week, myself and a group of reproductive justice advocates in the DC area who have named ourselves the DMV Reproductive Justice Partners. We had a week-long donation drive last week in partnership with the Texas Diaper Bank. And so, there was the Winter Storm Uri, and of course, like with leadership and just,
Bullshit.
being, bullshitting. Um, there are some families that, need a little extra support in the Texas area. So we did a week-long drive and we raised $1,000. So we reached our goal. We actually raised a little bit over $1,000. So we exceeded our goal, and we will be sending diapers and wipes out to the Texas Diaper Bank to distribute to families. So super excited about that.
Yes.
Yay, 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 yay.
It's dope. And
Yeah.
I I think you guys could have raised more, but it was it was definitely something I was happy to also help support. I think I retweeted it from everybody
Yes.
I saw. Like, you retweeted it, and then I saw somebody else like it, so I was like, I retweeted them, and then like, I don't know. So I was excited that
Yeah,
you guys met
no,
your
shout
goal.
out to the community. Like it started out so slow too. We were like, okay, and like then like, by the middle of the week, like Wednesday it was like, all right, like we're not even halfway there, but we're still pushing. And then just out of nowhere, it just kept going and going and going. So that was really,
Yeah.
really exciting. And we're excited to get back together and think about our next project and some other things moving forward. So we'll definitely be sharing some more stuff in the future.
Yeah. So if you want to figure out how you can support Sydney and the DMV Reproductive Justice Partners, sorry, I was trying to remember. Of course, follow From Sid with Love or our podcast, and we'll definitely link that information because we are here for it. Lastly, but not least, we have a quote that we're going to leave you with, and we don't know who it's by, so it's going to be credited to unknown. Love is the inexpressible comfort of feeling safe with a person because you neither have to weigh your thoughts nor measure your words. So
That's so perfect.
I hope that resonates with somebody out there. And, if you're having conversations with yourself about relationships, you can always visit this, listen to our podcast. If you need help with ideas, we're not therapists, but we've been through some shit.
Right.
We're sensible beings, so holla at us.
All right, good people. Thank you again. This was episode 4, season 2.
Yeah.
There it is. All right, and we'll see you again next week.